Hello world, this is Daniel from Nerdsworth Academy, and today I'm going to be talking about the Crypt of the NecroDancer. Woo! Okay, so Crypt of the NecroDancer is it's a game released, or it's not even released yet. It's a game made by a company called Brace Yourself Games, and it just came out in early access, I think maybe a month ago or a couple months ago. So it's on Steam, but it's still in alpha form. I'm playing version 0.375, I believe. And I have to say, it's a pretty great game. And so what it is it's a dungeon crawling, rhythm-based indie roguelike, I guess. And so what that means is that it's pseudo turn-based in that you can only move, use an item, or attack on the beats. And so you'll notice that I have this heart pumping at the bottom of the screen, and that is basically, that tells you when you can, essentially when you can move, and it's synced up with the music in the game. And so this game is really neat because it has, the rhythm aspect makes it very different than any other dungeon crawler that I've played. Like sometimes you'd play something like Diablo and it's very actiony and you just go as fast as you can, or something on the other side of the scale like Dungeons of Dreadmore, where it's very slow. You can be very slow paced if you want it to be. Whereas this game is kind of interesting because it's, you have to do something every beat. And if you don't, you end up losing your coin multiplier, which makes it so you can't buy items from shops and so forth, or it's harder to because you don't get as much money. Also, it affects your score at the end of the level. So you'll notice also that there are things that you can pick up, such as here I just picked up a broadsword, and there are a number of different weapons in the game. I've only discovered a few of them, and each of them change the attack characteristics of your main weapon. So when you pick up the broadsword, instead of just hitting the tile that you're trying to move into, it hits the 2 tiles, it hits 3 tiles total essentially. So it's all the 3 tiles in front of you. And there are a number of different weapons. There's I believe I pick up a blunderbuss later on, and there's also a spear that hits multiple squares that changes your attack. There are also some shovels that you can get, which allow you to shovel through not just dirt, but also other kinds of walls. And so as I said, it's a very unique game, a very interesting game. There are also things that you need to avoid, such as that little skull face up there at the top of the screen. It's a trap that will do damage. The monsters are interesting in that each type of monster has some kind of pattern that it'll follow. So for instance, if you look at that blue blob, actually hang on, if you look at this, the mini boss there, which was the Minotaur, it will charge you as soon as it can, but if you get out of the way, then it'll end up hitting a wall and you can get a couple attacks on it. And here, this gold blob, it does sort of like a little 4 square circle that it jumps into. And so learning all the different monster tells is really important into figuring out when it's safe to attack and when you have to run away. Yeah, so here's the little gold blob just happily going in a circle. But anyway, it's a very interesting game. I think it's there's definitely a lot of replayability, like other. I guess it's a roguelike, in that when you die, you get to restart. But yeah, it's roguelike in that sense, and also in that the levels are randomly generated every time you play the regular game. There's also a seeded mode, which I haven't really gotten into, where you can. Oh, this is a mistake. This is where I pick up the heart and also the Boots of Leaping, which. Essentially it changes it so instead of going 1 square over, you jump 2 squares, and this just completely, I did not know what this did when I picked this up, and it freaked me out. Yeah. You can see I'm not sure what's going on here, but anyway, as I was saying, yeah, there is also this seeded hardcore mode, which disables all of your which disables any upgrades that you've got for your character, and essentially it allows you to compete against other people for a high score. And so the way the upgrades work, I guess I didn't talk about that yet, is as you pick up these diamonds, you'll use them after you die in what's known as the lobby, and the lobby gives you the ability to get certain kinds of upgrades. So some of these upgrades are, you get additional hearts, so you can stay alive longer. That allows you to go deeper into the dungeon. Another one that's very common is the there's a gold multiplier one, and also just additional items. So for instance, you need to unlock the ability to get, I was trying to get the cheese there, obviously. You can unlock the ability to get new kinds of weapons and so forth, and that makes it so it's, it adds more variety to the game as you play, which is actually really nice. And a lot of the things are quite strong too, so that makes it fun. But overall, I've been really enjoying the game. I've only put in maybe 3 hours into it or so, but I think it's a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to see what they end up doing with the full version of the game. As I said, it's in early alpha. I think it's been out for maybe a month, but I think it's very ingenious and it's pretty neat. Also, I think this is a great game. Unlike a lot of games that I tend to play, this is a great game to just sit down and play for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You just play a run and you have fun for a few minutes and you can just go do something else. And so here I just fell into a trap, and this puts you into a tiny little room with a bunch of monsters and a mini boss, and yeah, I die. So anyway, it's a pretty cool game, and I'm really having a lot of fun with it. And so I'm just going to leave with a segment of the introduction screen, which I think is awesome, as well as another playthrough which you can enjoy without me, without my voice corrupting everything. Oh, and this is just a small. At the end of the zone, there's a boss which you have to defeat, and the bosses, I've only played against 2 of them, and they've both been very fun. And so this one is sort of a spellcaster guy. He's pretty interesting. He has a big shield, and he summons minions in just a minute. You'll notice that on the boss level, in order to heighten the intensity, the music is very, very fast. And so it makes it easy to do what I just did and lose your coin multipliers, although they're not dropping coins, so it doesn't matter too much here. So anyway, overall, I think the game is pretty fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, it's a very ingenious twist on both the roguelike genre, dungeon crawling, and also rhythm games, because other rhythm games, they just focus on you being a singer or you being a band member, and here taking it and putting it into a completely different environment is really cool. And there is an example of one of the enemy tells. I did not realize that he can breathe fire. So, in any case, you can also insert your own music, and it seems to do a reasonable job of analyzing the track and putting the beats. So here I put in some AC/DC. Anyway, I will leave you guys with the introduction and then some uninterrupted gameplay footage. Till next time.
They told me I was too young. They told me I needed more training. I told them to drop dead. How ironic. I don't know how I survived that fall. Something strange must have happened. My pulse is beating like a drum, but my blood is running cold. I'm not sure what's going on, but I came here with a question. And I'm gonna find the answer if it kills me.
to check out some more of my videos, you can check out The Waltz of the Pursuer, where I died the pursuer a bunch of times to the tune of Tchaikovsky's Waltz of the Flowers, or you can check out my Dungeon of Dragonborn review, or even subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much!